Greetings, Commanders! Mini here! Welcome back to another episode of Elite Dangerous Overengineering. Today we're going to be doing 300 Grade 5 Frameshift Drive upgrades. So basically you could technically call this the ultimate guide to overengineering your Frameshift Drive. Depending on the results I get, of course. Thanks, RNG. Before I babble on any further, let's go ahead and roll the intro! Okay, so we are here in the Deciat System to see Mrs. Felicity Farseer. She does Grade 5 Frameshift Drive upgrades. Now, Frameshift drives, as they are a little bit fickle on the RNG side, but they are extremely important for, well, everyone. I don't think anyone should not have an upgraded Frameshift drive. She requires a myriad of materials, those of which being Arsenic, Chemical Manipulators, and Datamined Wake Exceptions. Arsenic you can get on planetary surfaces. I would definitely recommend checking out eddb.io to get the materials you need. Once you go to eddb.io, you will see this screen. I would recommend going to the Bodies tool, and once you're here, you can select the material that you want to find. In this case, arsenic. Once you're there, you can set your reference system. For instance, let's say you're in the starter system LHS3447. And the nice thing about this website is it does have an autocomplete function. Now that we know what we want to find and where we are, we can hit the Find Bodies tool. And the list down here will be populated. Generally, I sort by highest concentration, and then you're also going to want to search for the closest system. So in this case, it's Sinuphi KL-H space D11-64. And over here, you will see the exact planet. If you click on this, it will give you a readout. This screen will give you the total concentration of every single element on that planet, the gravity of the planet, and how far away it is from your jump in. This is extremely helpful for me because this also tells me what other elements it drops and what can I expect the drop rate to be for the material that I'm looking for. Personally, I prefer low gravity worlds. Now this planet is the same planet I used in my material hunting live stream where I gathered all the arsenic that I did. I would recommend popping open every single rock that you see for the chance to get the material that you are searching for to expedite the retrieval of materials that you are looking for. Hey, arsenic and 2 polonium, what the fuck? And that was off of a bronzite crondite, did you see that?
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, I got 1 arsenic and 2 polonium off of a bronzite crondite. So remember what I said about, like, even the shitty rocks have a chance to drop the good stuff? There's a fantastic example. On to our next material, Chemical Manipulators. Chemical Manipulators can be found in Anarchy systems under outbreak conditions at convoy beacons. If you are looking for these particular materials, I would recommend going once again to eddb.io and going to the Systems tool. Once you're in the Systems tab, you're going to want to scroll down to the outbreak state. Make sure the government is set to Anarchy, controlling faction, and then you can set your reference system. Let's do it again from the starter system, LHS3447. Then you're going to hit Find Systems. Another thing you want to keep in mind when looking for convoy beacons is you want to also make sure that the population is over a minimum of 150,000. Now you can sort by population density or allegiance or something like that, but one thing I do make sure when I'm checking, it doesn't matter how far it is, because some systems, if you look at the minor factions, might have something that trumps it, like Civil War. Civil War can make the convoy beacons disappear completely because of the Civil War status. So when you are searching for a system, you want to make sure that you check the minor factions. Once you're looking at the minor factions, you want to make sure that none of the other system states will cause an override for the points of interest for the convoy beacons. If that does happen, you will go to the system. It will be under the correct conditions. However, you will not find any. Another thing you can do is once you actually look up the system, you can copy paste it into the galaxy map. Do a search for it and put your mouse over it. If you have the detailed version on, you can see that this system is indeed under anarchy outbreak conditions. Every time you do look in the galaxy map, you are not guaranteed to actually get the exact same results as eddb.io. So make sure before you go out to that system that it actually is under the correct conditions. Another good thing to do is check the summary and the factions in the system display. This one is under outbreak. We've also got election, boom, boom, outbreak, and none. And because the controlling faction has most of the control of the system, this outbreak condition should cause convoy beacons to spawn near or around the planets. You might have to expand your search to planets further away from the jump-in point, but keep in mind, convoy beacons will appear when you are within about 1,000 light seconds of them. So these last two planets, even though they might not look like much, if you don't see any convoy beacons within scanning the first couple planets, you might want to head towards the back end of the system and make sure you do a thorough investigation of the system in case you don't see any convoy beacons right off the bat. If you are lucky, you should see some as soon as you jump in. Now, if you happen to jump into a system and the convoy beacon is empty, then unfortunately you will have to start your search over again. So keep in mind, be persistent, and you will find a convoy beacon that is populated by Type 9s. Once you're there, blow them up, pick up your chemical manipulators, and move on.
Hey, we've got cows to kill. Very nice.
Moo! Moo! Don't kill me, moo! Holy shit, how many are there actually?
Quite a few. Fuck you, cow!
Next, we're going to be looking for Datamined Wake Exceptions. To find these, you're going to have to scan high-energy wakes from ships jumping to other systems. Most people will do this at a station, but there is a faster way. Once again, we are going to eddb.io, and we are also going to be searching through the Systems tool. This time, we're looking for Famine, controlling faction, and we're not worried about the government type this time, because we just want distribution centers. Now, the same thing applies for looking for convoy beacons. However, famine systems tend to be a little bit easier to find as there are a lot of people starving in the galaxy for some reason. And because none of the other minor factions in this system have any control of the system, and the two major factions that have most of the control of the system are under famine conditions, you should be expected to find distribution centers, which have a number of Type 9s and ships coming in and out. Most of these ships will actually jump out in the same area, so once you pick a spot to camp, you can pretty much sit there and scan the wakes as they come. Quite simple, actually. Now, on to the role itself. I have actually bought a new Class 6 Frameshift Drive, A class of course. The main thing we're going to be looking at is how the Frameshift Drive works. Now, increasing your optimal mass will of course increase your jump range. The power draw will not decrease it, and the integrity will not decrease it. Your mass will always of course be negatively affected by a grade 5 Frameshift Drive roll. However, secondary effects that you can get during the roll can either reduce the mass, increase the optimized mass, or even decrease the optimized mass, increase the mass, or give you very good secondary effects, such as a secondary boost of increased fuel use. So why would you want to use more fuel? Well, here's the thing. If you can pump more fuel into a Frameshift Drive, even if your optimized mass isn't maxed out, you can get a jump range that is past the normal amount because of an increase in maximum fuel use. This only comes into account when you are making a maximum jump range boost, but that's also very good if you're trying to do stupid things like break the in-game jump record, like hopefully I'll be able to do after I do this video. So before I go on any further or babble on any further, let's do these 300 rolls. Let's do it. Last 3 rolls of 300. No need to see the secondaries on that one, that's for sure. Last 2. Yeah, no. Roll 300. And as per usual, the game wants to dick me over on my final roll. Well, currently the best Frameshift Drive modification I have is a 55.5% Frameshift Drive, 44% mass bonus, power draw increase, integrity decrease, and a slightly ridiculously small boost to boot time. So 55.5. Not bad. I'm gonna head home and see if this thing even fits on my Anaconda build, and then we'll see if my current jump range right now of 63.27 is increased. So we'll see what we got, and then we'll throw all the other Frameshift drives that I got on my other ships and see what they're at. Be right back, Commanders. Alright, now that we are back home, we can actually take a look at the final results for this new Frameshift drive. So, we now have an optimized mass of 55.5%, and with the exact same fitting that I used in my last personal jump range record-breaking video, I went from 70.17 light years to 70.33 light years. So it looks like if I did it again, I'd be able to beat my record. But I'd like to have a little bit better results next time. And my current goal still stands that I do want to break 71 light years base jump range. Even with the amount of tweaking I can do on the power plant, the thrusters, the life support, the power distributor, and the sensors, I am still not going to be able to get past about 70.38 light years base jump range. So I think I'm going to take a break from upgrading Frameshift drives for a while, at least, because of the amount of time investment. It took me like 15 hours to get the 300 Datamined Wake Exceptions that I needed, and I'm just not ready to do that again at the moment. So I'll be putting a project like this on the shelf for a while. I have a few other things I do want to engineer. And yeah, well, there's the Anaconda's jump range. So let's take a look at the other ships now, shall we? Okay, starting with the smallest of the Frameshift drives, my 2A Frameshift drive. I have a 49.9% increase to optimize mass and a 2.7% bonus to max fuel per jump, which is cool. Mass increase was a 42.9% bonus. Integrity decrease, power draw increase, really don't care. But the cool thing is my shit fit Sidewinder now goes 34 light years to jump. Not bad. And the Viper Mark III that I have is a 54.2% Frameshift drive with a lower thermal load, which I guess is kind of cool. Mass increase of 37%, integrity decrease, power draw increase, light year jump range of 17.76 for a 3A Frameshift drive. Now looking at the Fer-de-Lance, or the Frag-de-Lance, whichever you prefer. Frameshift drive increase of 54%, thermal load decrease, mass increase of 43%, integrity down, power draw down, 15.84 light years. Let's take this same Frameshift drive and throw it on the Vulture. With the same Frameshift drive on the Vulture, we have a jump range of about 20.86. Not bad. Now for this Class 5A Frameshift drive, I have thrown the medium grade quality on my Asp Explorer because I use it for signal source hunting. This one has an optimized mass of 50%, thermal load decrease, and a max fuel per jump of 2.1%. Boosting its jump range currently up to 38.33 light years. And that's with a fully laden. Maximum jump range for this one is around 48.25 light years. So almost 50. But it really depends on the fitting. And now for the Class 5A Frameshift drive. This one has a 55.5% bonus to optimize mass and a maximum fuel per jump bonus of 2.5%. The mass increase is about 42.3%, and then I got a decrease to integrity and about 0.15 megawatt increase to power consumption. And I use this on my Diamondback Explorer. Current range of about 51.8 light years. And on to the worst of the Class 5A Frameshift drives. I threw this one on the Daka gunship because I don't really need to go far. And a 17.86 light year jump range isn't bad for a ship of this type. The optimized mass increase was around 49.8, which is pretty good, not quite 50%, but just under the maximum. However, I did get a 1.8% increase to the maximum fuel per jump. So that is kind of helping to balance out that slightly lower than maximum optimized mass value. Mass increase of around 42%, and of course around the 20 to 25% decrease and increase to integrity and power draw. This one is a little bit hotter on the thermal load, but only 1 point per second, so I'm not really worried about. The Daka gunship isn't a terribly hot ship. But the jump range is not bad for a ship of its type. And for my Phoenix Anaconda, this ship currently has an optimized mass of 54.9, just under that 55% mark I like to hit. Mass increase of 41.9, 17.4 decrease to integrity, and a 24.3% increase to power draw. So for this ship, its main role is combat and scooping cargo for combat-based material gathering. So its jump range of 24.87 with a full load of about 120 or so limpets, and 27 when it's empty is not bad. I could probably shed some mass, most likely from the life support and the sensors, but that's going to be a future project. If I do that, I might be able to hit around the 28 to 30 to 31 light year jump range mark. That's a project I'm going to be working on a later date. Unfortunately, in my haste to upgrade all the modules that I needed for my other ships, I accidentally passed up the Atano Circus completely. So it's currently stuck at its 47% jump range, or 47% increase optimized mass with a jump range of around 23 light years. I'm hoping to adjust this in the future, so I'm hoping to at least get around 50%, but that'll probably be a very small project just to work on this one ship.
Now for the Imperial Annihilator, we have an optimized mass increase of 53.8% and a thermal load decrease, which is going to help if I am actually traveling in this thing. The current jump range is around 15.19, which honestly is terrible, but it's better than the 10 light year jump range I used to have. The mass increase, I got a 40.6% increase to mass, 23.8 decrease to integrity, and a 23.5% increase to power draw. So the Annihilator can move, just not very far very quickly, but I'm okay with that because she is my dreadnought. She doesn't move fast, but she kills everything, and she can take a hell of a pounding. Alright, Commanders, that's enough for this episode of Elite Dangerous Overengineering. If you did like the video, please do like the video and feel free to subscribe. This is Minnie for Elite Dangerous Overengineering. Signing out!